Hey YouTube, it's Louis. Here we are with the second update on the F-84G Thunderjet on 1/72nd scale. Last I showed you guys was the cockpit. We went ahead and worked on the engine. And let me, the lighting's better over here, so let me zoom in. You guys could see the engine a little better. There you go. Here's the engine. It's all painted, mainly black with a little bit of chrome paint. Then I just used the toothpick, just detail it a little bit. I used a couple of pictures on the net as a reference just to see how the engine will look all painted. So then after that I work on the fuselage, and the fuselage is all nice and glued together, and the fit on this is just amazing. It's really nice. So the seam lines were really easy to get rid of. Didn't have to use any type of filler at all, and if you can see here, the seam line's completely gone. I still gotta work in some areas. Let me see. There you go. Those areas I gotta work on. If you fill them up, they're nice and smooth. Notice my nail, how long it is. I've been actually letting it grow because I call this my seam checker. I use it to check the seams, and it works out really good. It actually comes really handy. It's a little dirty right now, but that's because I've been working on this. Over here, this seam was a little harder. I mean, it kept coming back and back, and actually had to use a little bit of super glue, just a drop of super glue, and then with the toothpick you just run it along the seam line, and you got to be careful with not losing any of these details. So don't get close to the edge, because you're gonna be filling those panel lines, and once the super glue dries, it's gonna be just a pain to rescribe this. So be careful with that. For anybody who's sanding or filling gaps in a round surface, what I do is I keep it flat. The sanding sponge, I keep it flat, but at the same time I try to move this around when I'm sanding, because you don't want to stay in one place too long, otherwise you're going to flatten the surface and you're going to lose the curve of the surface. So you got to be careful with that. The next step will be to paint the landing gear bay. This is going to be XF4, which is yellow green. Okay, and so I'm gonna show you guys how I do that. Okay, so I'll see you guys at the paint booth. All right, here we are. I said paint booth, but what I meant is my paint station. This is my paint station. Let me zoom out. You guys can see I'm on the other side of the table. I have a window right in front of me. That's probably the safest place to paint. You always want to be in a ventilated area. Make sure that you wear protection. I'm using acrylic paint. This is what I'm going to be using, which is XF4 from Tamiya. Is the yellow green, and I'm going to be painting pretty much all the landing gear bays, compartments. I have them all taped up all over here. This is the landing gear bay, and yeah, make sure you wear protection when you're painting. For those of you who just started doing airbrushing. What I'm using here is my savior. This airbrush is amazing. This is the Neo. This is the Neo for Iwata. It's not by Iwata, and it comes with 2 cup sizes, and you could detach them and switch them up. Pretty nice airbrush. It's about I've seen it from $50 to $79, even $89 on eBay. You gotta be, you gotta look around if you wanna buy it. But this is a nice airbrush, and it's my savior. I refer to it as my savior because my expensive airbrush, the one I could do all the fine detail with it, it kind of spits out the paint. It's got a little leak, so this has actually saved me money, because I've been using this to paint even all the detail I did on the Hummer, with the fine camo pattern and all that stuff. I did with this airbrush. But enough about the airbrush, let's get to painting. So here is, now I could spray straight out of the bottle, but I always like to thin my paints just a little bit. So I have a little bit of X20A. That's the acrylic thinner from Tamiya. So I'm gonna put about 30% thinners to 70% paint. Okay, and then you might ask yourself, well, how do you know what's 30% and what's 70%? 30% will be just enough to cover where the needle is and right where the cup starts. That's about 30% of the entire section. So then the rest, we just go ahead and open this up, which I have right here, and we're just gonna put a little bit of paint. I don't want to use a lot. Okay, cover this paint up. There's a little bit of tissue here. You just go ahead and clean this up. And now, to mix the paint in the cup, this is what I do. I loosen up the front of the airbrush. And you could do this with most of the airbrushes. And I loosen it up, and what it does is it blocks any air from getting out. And then you just push down for air, and as soon as you start pulling back, it's actually a little bit looser. As soon as you start pulling back, you're gonna start getting these bubbles. And what he's doing is he's just mixing all the paint and thinner. Now that's if you're not shooting the paint straight out of the bottle. I don't know if you guys be able to hear me. That's my compressor on there. The PSI is at about 40 PSI, and when you're shooting acrylics, I recommend that you increase the PSI on your compressor, because the acrylic paints are actually a lot thicker than enamels per se. So we're gonna go ahead and start with let's start with this. So first we're gonna check our paint. It's coming out nice and neat. Okay, and we're gonna start painting. Probably put some music on the background or something. So we want to make sure you cover it from all the angles. You just work yourself. What I do is when I want to cover a large section, I mean this is 1/72 scale, but when I want to cover a section, I kind of just spray it and do little circles. I just find that, you know, you spray more even that way. Then what I want to do is I want to turn this around and hit it from the other side, because you want to avoid any shadowing. So you're gonna make sure that you spray that so it looks like this, nice and even. And now let's work on the other parts. Now these are flat, so you don't need to turn things around and hit them in different angles. So this is actually gonna work real nice. By the way, I cleaned these parts up. They had a lot of injection marks on them, so I cleaned them up. And the way I did that is I used these sanding twigs, and they work really nice because this is such a small scale. They work just perfect for this kind of stuff. So. You were just painting. Cut to air. Make sure everything's nice and dry. And then you could see, I don't know if you could see, but it's not actually covering up that much because the paint it's thin out, so you gotta make sure you do a couple of passes. So we're gonna do that. Cut to air. Every time you want to dry your paint, you just push down. If you have a double action like me, you just want to push down. Don't pull back, otherwise you're gonna flood the section. So we're just drying right now, kind of hitting parts that need to be painted again. Like that section right there. Sorry guys, I keep going out of the frame there, but it's my first time painting in front of the camera, so I'm not used to having a camera, you know, when I'm painting. Last but not least, this baby right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and paint that. Alright, and here we go. That's all nice and painted. Okay, I'm happy with that. So let me just dry it. Make sure that I didn't miss anything. Okay, here we go. It's nice and dry. Now there's a little seam line in the middle part there. I just couldn't get to it, even with the twigs, the sanding twigs. But I'm not too worried about it. This is gonna be on the bottom of the plane. You're not gonna see it that much. So, but that's what we want. We want it to be pretty nice coverage with the paint. So let's look at these parts. These parts are looking pretty good. maybe here a little more. Okay, that's it. But the next step, what we're pretty much gonna do after that is when we're gonna finish, gluing this together like that, and then we're gonna assemble the wings, and that's probably gonna be on the next update. I want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you for all the comments that I'm getting. I'm gonna have to rescribe a bunch of stuff on this fuselage because I did lose some of the detail, and for that I'm gonna be using some scribing stuff that I won through a contest, and I'll make another video of that when that package comes on the mail. But it was a funny coincidence. It's a weird coincidence because I was actually gonna make a video of this person, about this person. He is the main reason probably why I'm doing videos now on YouTube. And yeah, he had a contest. I was selected randomly and I won. So thank you. And I'll be making a video of that, but that's what I'm going to be using to rescribe, for example, all those sections down there. Right here I lost some detail, and also I bought a riveting tool from Hasegawa. I think it's Hasegawa. It looks like a pizza cutter, but it works perfectly, and it comes with different wheels for different scales. So I'm gonna be using that for this. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next update. We'll probably work on the wings on the next update, and we'll take it from there. All right, thank you very much, and take care, guys. I'll see you in the next video.